Synchronous teaching with Navigate Math. Navigate Math starts in a familiar place. Students and teachers operate in a traditional model with instruction being direct from the teacher. This occurs over the first 2 units, so the teacher has time to efficiently develop essential skills necessary to be successful with blended learning in general and student-centered learning models later, starting in Unit 3. Synchronous teaching in Navigate Math tends to occur in 2 phases. The first is a very traditional model with a launch, generally in common. Teachers check homework, take attendance, and also debrief the common launch, followed by a core component of the class, which is generally a direct instruction lesson from the teacher. The teacher will use, later to be reviewed, the real-time on-air assessment tool built within Guru to help determine class, group, and individual level intervention, and will generally spend the practice component of the class supporting students and intervening. They'll close the class, giving an exit ticket to gauge learning outcomes and assign homework. Students reciprocally process the launch, make sure their homework is ready to be checked, will take notes from the teacher, follow up with practice assessments, generating real-time data, so the teacher can be informed to support the students, and so students can get the feedback and solve many of their own problems based on the real-time results, and finally, record homework, a familiar class pattern. A second phase in the synchronous learning is when the teacher transitions from providing the direct instruction to students taking notes from learning collections with varied resources. Those learning collections tend to simply supplement the teacher's instruction to start. Shifting this later to be the primary form of instruction helps prepare students for independent learning and processing resources according to their preference later, in preparation for moving at their own pace and having greater choice with respect to learning experiences, assessments, and homeworks. The planning portion for teachers when moving synchronously is, like delivery, rather traditional. For example, in the first unit, teachers will work through specific topics, planning a direct instruction lesson, and then using the assessments within to gather real-time data to determine intervention and support. As mentioned before, the learning collections and their resources are there for students to support the teacher's lesson. Students are expected to record evidence of work and notes in a notebook or a binder, which the teacher can check at any time. Whether taking notes from the teacher or additional resources, that is a common expectation. Students working on real-time assessments in Guru or on external assessments like a Khan Academy mission or a Google Doc writing task still have to produce work evidence to be checked at by the teacher. The teacher knows where their students are based on icons next to specific assessments and learning experiences within lessons. We can see there's one student currently in Lesson 3, where this moving in synchronous fashion, all students should be present in the same lesson and on the same task, a helpful function for helping to manage the class. Looking back, we can see there are 2 total students in Unit 1, while 7 other students out of our total of 9 in the sample class happen to be in Unit 3. While planning is traditional and teachers generally proceed concept after concept, lesson after lesson, teachers can leverage not just the course map to see where students are specifically and how they're doing, but they're able to look at the data tab to get a bird's eye view to better decide whether or not to slow pacing, return for intervention, and how to support in general. Students are able to see a similar view in their own dashboard. Teachers, however, are able to drill down at the unit level, down to specific lessons, and within lessons to gather data, sort, and identify specific needs for who to support and how to adjust their planning based on performance of the class. The teacher can see whether or not students have completed the assessments within specific lessons. When a student submits the assessment, it is considered complete regardless of how the student performed on it. This allows the data to be put in context, so if a student happens to have 100% but has only done 1 out of the 6 assessments, everyone understands where people stand. The teacher also has the ability to look at study time, to be able to acknowledge and support students who have been putting in extra time, and also have discussions with respect to coaching on those who are perhaps not spending the time they may need. Looking for patterns within units or within lessons among multiple students or individuals helps the teacher analyze outside of class time where they should focus launches, exit tickets, and specific interventions during the core part of the class. Moving back to the course map, the teacher can intervene using real-time assessment in powerful ways during synchronous teaching. Diving into Unit 3, we can look at Lesson 4, where currently we have a 67% average. Looking, for example, at the prime number check for understanding quiz, while the students are taking this, the teacher can get real-time data to help inform individual, group, and class-level intervention using their Go Live dashboard. The Go Live dashboard shows individual tiles for each student, their overall performance, and how they're doing on individual questions. This allows the teacher to sort alphabetically or by average for quick, efficient, individual intervention. The teacher can click on a specific student, get a report of how they happen to be doing, see the correct answer, and study student responses to diagnose misunderstandings and intervene with students before they get too far along and start replicating misunderstandings. The teacher can identify group-level needs by looking at the question averages. For example, question 2 seems to be of a particular struggle. By clicking on it, the teacher can see the question and see which students said which answer to help to know who to pull and how to support based on their submission. These 3 submitted a blank, whereas these 3 have a misunderstanding, thinking this number 11 has 4 factors, helping the teacher to try and diagnose the misunderstanding for this group, pull them, and efficiently support them, correcting the misunderstanding. The teacher can quickly move through the questions to do this for any question that students have submitted results for. Finally, the teacher can identify class-level needs either by seeing class performance on a specific question suffer greatly or see the overall average or distribution of scores indicate that the teacher needs to pause and to intervene immediately with whole class instruction to correct misunderstandings. Additional helpful supports include being able to identify students who are performing well on specific questions and asking them to partner with those who happen to need help, and other such types of interventions to be discussed in other screencasts, leveraging the real-time tool in powerful ways. Teachers can look at the tile view, or, if they like, a spreadsheet view, and quickly look to see how students are doing, sort for intervention, either by student or by question, to efficiently intervene at the individual, group, and class levels. Additionally, teachers can add in the filter to look at study time to see how quickly students are taking a quiz overall, or within a specific question, sort and identify those who maybe are moving a little fast and help coach them. They can look at reactions if students submit them with emoticons indicating their level of confidence, and also search by those, filter by those as well. One last feature of the Go Live real-time dashboard that provides a critical set of learning opportunities for students is the anonymous view. While the teacher can see how each student is doing on their tiles or by groups clicking on individual questions, projecting this in a classroom doesn't necessarily make students feel safe when they're participating with the assessment. The anonymous view addresses that. The anonymous view shows the exact same data as the teacher view, except it displays student ID numbers. This helps students feel safe and drives them to be engaged, take risks, and participate in ways they wouldn't should their names have been projected. Showing this to the class can help build culture, identify patterns, and even help both the teacher and student manage the situation as a real-time assessment is occurring. Classes particularly like looking at this for exit tickets or other moments in the class when competing against themselves to beat a prior score, or if they're taking multiple assessments to see how much they could grow from one assessment to another. Having students compete between different classes, Block 1, Block 2, Block 3, with a common assessment is also an approach often taken by teachers to generate engagement and fun with respect to the assessment process. The ability for teachers to look at real-time data in the on-air view with respect to assessments and see where students happen to be, help them manage the class and determine intervention even in a synchronous traditional setting. Teachers can also dive down and look at their data again in the data view at the unit, lesson, and assessment levels. When doing so, it helps them intervene both in their planning using this data view and with the course map real-time on-air view in real time. Teachers analyzing data, whether on the Data tab to inform their planning and on the course map on-air views in real time to inform intervention, helps teachers begin to develop the skills necessary to support and facilitate the self-paced, student-centered model, which begins in Unit 3 or when teachers are ready. Just as important as personalized learning for students is personalized teaching for teachers. The Guru Navigator meeting teachers like students where they are in their practice and helping them bridge from there to more rigorous practices when they are ready.